All right, let me ask you something real quick. Have you ever looked at someone and thought, why does this person always look fresh, like life is treating them well, even when they're clearly stressed like the rest of us? And then you look at yourself in the mirror and think, why do I look like I just survived 3 meetings, 2 overthinking sessions, and 1 emotional argument that never even happened? Yeah, don't worry, I've been there too, and today. We're not fixing your face, we're fixing your energy. Because there's a little psychological trick, a daily rhythm, something I call the 5-5-5 rule. And honestly, once you understand it, you're going to start acting different, thinking different. And weirdly enough, people will start saying things like, you look younger these days, and you'll be like, I'm just drinking water and minding my business, respectfully. Now, before we go deep, let me warn you. This is not one of those boring self-help videos where someone talks like a robot and says, discipline is important, wake up at 5 a.m., drink lemon water. No, no, no. This is more like me sitting with you, talking life, laughing, exposing a few human truths, and maybe roasting ourselves a little along the way. So stay with me. Because the 5-5-5 rule is not just about looking young, it's about feeling like your mind is not dragging your body through emotional traffic every day. Now let me tell you something funny. There was a time I thought staying young meant skincare. So I tried everything, face masks, creams, face, even one that smelled like ancient forest water, whatever that means. And guess what? My face was still tired. But life didn't change, because I realized something funny. You can moisturize your skin, but if your mind is stressed, your energy still looks like it's been working overtime with no salary. And that's where Carl Jung comes in, quietly sitting in the background like, I told you, it was the inside all along. Not your skin, not your outfit, not your haircut you overthink for 3 hours. It's the inner world. And that's what the 5-5-5 rule plays with. It's simple, almost too simple, but don't let that fool you, because sometimes the simplest things are the ones that expose how chaotic we've been living. Now I need you to imagine something for a second. Picture your mind like a room, and in that room, there are 3 things constantly happening. Thoughts coming in like guests who don't knock. Emotions sitting on your furniture like they pay rent. And stress, just pacing around like it owns the place. That's most people's mind, be honest. Yours too sometimes, right? No judgment. We're all slightly mentally crowded. Now imagine if you had a system, a daily reset, a way to clear that mental room in just a few minutes, so you don't carry yesterday's stress into today like emotional baggage at the airport. That's what the 5-5-5 rule does. And I'm not exaggerating. When people start practicing it properly, they don't just look different, they move different, they talk slower, they smile more without forcing it. Even their silence starts looking confident, and people notice, even the ones who pretend not to. But here's the funny part. Nobody tells you this in school. They teach you math. But nobody teaches you how to not mentally overthink a random text message for 6 hours. Like, why did okay feel colder than winter? We've all been there. Don't lie. So in this video, I'm going to break down the 5-5-5 rule in a way that actually feels human. Not like a lecture, more like a conversation you didn't know you needed. And I'll also show you how Carl Jung's psychology quietly explains why this works, without making it sound like a university exam, because trust me, we are not here to suffer today, and stay with me till the end, because the last part of the 5-5-5 rule is the one that most people ignore, and it's the one that changes everything, like everything. All right. Now let's get into it properly. But first, if you're watching this and thinking, this feels like something I need right now, just know, you're already halfway into changing your energy. Now we're getting into the real thing, the 5-5-5 rule. And before you overthink it and try to turn it into rocket science, relax. It's not that deep. But at the same time, it kind of is. Let me explain. The 5-5-5 rule. Every single day, you give yourself 5 minutes to release, 5 minutes to reset, 5 minutes to reconnect. That's it. 15 minutes total. And somehow, this tiny thing starts changing how you feel, how you think, and even how people respond to you. Now, let's break it down like we're just talking on a normal day. 1. The 5 minutes to release. This is where most people fail life, not even joking. Because you know what we do? We carry everything. That message you didn't like, that small insult someone threw at you last week, that random embarrassment from 2019 that still pops up at 2 a.m. like a bad memory notification. Yeah, all of it. We carry it. Like emotional luggage. And Jung would probably look at us and say, "My friend, why are you renting space in your mind to people who don't pay rent?" So the first 5 minutes, you release. Not spiritually floating in the sky stuff, just simple. You sit down and let your mind dump everything. No filtering, no judging yourself. If your brain says, "I'm annoyed at my boss," fine. If it says, "Why did I say that awkward thing in public?" Fine. Let it all come out. Because your mind is not a storage unit. It's not meant to keep everything forever. Even your phone deletes old files. Why not you? And let me be honest. You'll feel weird at first, like your thoughts are lining up, like, "Why are you exposing us like this?" But that's okay. Keep going. 2. The 5 minutes to reset. Now this one is funny, because this is where your brain goes. Okay, we released emotions. Now what do? Buy a new personality? No, you reset. Simple. You breathe, slow, and you tell yourself something very simple like, "I am here. I am okay. I don't need to fix everything today." That's it. No dramatic movie soundtrack. No spiritual lightning strike. Just you, calming your system down. And let me tell you something funny. Most people don't realize how chaotic they are until they sit still, because suddenly your brain starts reminding you, "Oh, remember that bill? Oh, remember that awkward message? Oh, remember your whole life plan that doesn't exist yet?" And you're just there like, "Bro, I said reset, not replay my anxiety playlist." But you breathe through it, and slowly, your system drops its shoulders. Even your face starts relaxing. That's when people say, "You look calm today." And you'll think, "I literally just stopped arguing with myself for 5 minutes. 3. The 5 minutes to reconnect. Now, this is the part people underestimate, because after release, after reset, you reconnect, not with your phone. Please don't. Not with TikTok. That's not reconnecting. That's reopening chaos. No, you reconnect with you. The version of you that existed before stress started talking too loud. You ask yourself simple things like, what do I actually feel right now? What do I need today? Am I living or just reacting? And suddenly, something shifts. Not magically, but quietly, like your mind is remembering its original settings. And this is where Carl Jung quietly steps in again and says, the meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. And you realize you've been meeting the world without meeting yourself first, every single day. Let me be honest with you. Most people don't look tired because they're old. They look tired because they never leave their own mind alone. It's like having 27 tabs open in your brain, and one of them is playing emotional background music you didn't even choose. But when you practice this 5-5-5 rule, something funny happens. You don't just look better. You become less reactive. Someone says something annoying, and instead of exploding, you just look at them like, Interesting choice of words. That's growth. And here's the part nobody tells you. When your mind becomes lighter, your presence changes. You don't force confidence anymore. You don't try to look attractive. You just stop carrying emotional weight in your face, and people notice. They may not understand it, but they feel it. That's why they say things like, "You've changed," and you'll be like, "I just stopped arguing with my thoughts every morning." Carl Jung believed that the unconscious mind runs most of our life, meaning, if you don't take control of your inner world, it will quietly control your outer world, your moods, your reactions, even how you show up in relationships. But the moment you create space, even just 15 minutes a day, you stop being dragged by your emotions and start leading them. Not perfectly, but better than before. And let's be honest, if nobody taught you this growing up, it's fine. Most of us were just told, "Be strong." But nobody said, "Hey, maybe stop overthinking your whole life at 3 a.m. So now you know. The 5-to-5-5 rule. Release, reset, reconnect. Simple, but powerful. Now, I want to ask you something real. Be honest. Which part do you struggle with the most? Are you someone who holds everything inside, overthinks everything, or forgets to even check in with yourself? Write it in the comments. Let's be real here. No pretending. And if this video made you feel even a little lighter, you already know what to do, because this isn't just a video, it's a reminder. And I want you to really sit with that for a second. Not scroll, not rush, just pause in your own way for a moment. Because most people don't realize something very simple. You don't actually need a completely new life. You just need a quieter mind. That's it. And maybe nobody told you that before. Maybe you grew up thinking happiness is something you achieve later. After the job, after the money, after everything finally behaves itself. But life doesn't really wait for that perfect moment. It just keeps moving, and you're either moving with it peacefully or dragging yourself through it mentally. And let me tell you something funny. Have you noticed how your brain can turn one small problem into a full documentary series? Like Episode 1. Why did I say that? Episode 2. They probably hate me now. Episode 3. Let me reread the message for the 19th time just to suffer properly. And suddenly, you're emotionally starring in a movie nobody auditioned for. But this is why this 5-5-5 rule matters more than it looks like. Because it interrupts that cycle. It doesn't stop life from happening. It just stops your mind from turning everything into a disaster movie. And if you really think about it, most of the heaviness people feel every day isn't even the situation itself. It's the mental replay of the situation, the overthinking, the imagining, the what-ifs that never actually show up in real life, but somehow live rent-free in your head anyway. And Carl Jung would probably say something like, "You are what you do, not what you say you'll do." But honestly, if Jung was sitting with us today, he'd probably also add, "And please, stop replaying conversations from 2017. Nobody else remembers them. Now listen. There's something very important I want you to understand. You are not your thoughts. You are the one watching your thoughts. And that small difference changes everything. Because once you realize that, you stop treating every thought like a command and start treating it like noise passing through. Some thoughts are useful, some are just emotional spam emails, and you don't have to open all of them. And this is where something interesting happens, when your mind gets a little quieter. Your personality starts coming back, the real one, not the stressed version, not the overthinking version, not the "I hope nobody notices I'm confused" version, but you. The version that laughs easier, speaks lighter, breathes deeper without trying, and people notice that version, even if they can't explain it. They just feel it. Because calm energy is loud in a world full of mental noise. And maybe this is the part nobody really tells you. You don't become more attractive by trying to look better. You become more attractive by carrying less emotional weight in your face. That's it. That's the secret nobody puts in advertisements. No cream can do that. No outfit can fake that. Only your inner world can. And maybe you've been trying so hard, trying to fix yourself, trying to improve yourself, trying to be better every single day, that you forgot something very important. You're not broken. You're just overloaded. There's a difference. And sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is not adding more discipline, not adding more routines, not adding more pressure, but simply removing noise. And that's what the 5-5-5 rule really is. It's not a routine to impress anyone. It's a reset for your inner world. A small daily pause where you come back to yourself, before the world pulls you in 10 different directions again, and if you practice it, even imperfectly, even messy, even forgetting some days, you'll still start noticing something slowly changing. You'll react less. You'll breathe more. You'll feel less carried by life, and more present inside it. And I want you to imagine something before we end this. Just picture yourself a few weeks from now. You wake up, and instead of rushing into mental noise, you take a moment, you release, you reset, you reconnect. And suddenly your whole day feels different. Not because life changed, but because you did. And maybe, just maybe, the version of you you've been trying to become was never far away. It wasn't hiding in success. It wasn't waiting in the future. It wasn't locked behind some perfect version of your life. It was just under the noise, waiting for you to slow down long enough to hear it again. And I know life gets loud. I know your thoughts get messy sometimes. I know some days feel like you're just reacting instead of living. But even then, you're still here, still learning, still becoming, and that already means something. So don't rush this. Don't force it. Just start small. 5 minutes to release, 5 minutes to reset, 5 minutes to reconnect. That's all. And if today was the day something inside you shifted, even slightly, then that's enough, because small shifts turn into new identities over time. And I'll say this like I'm speaking directly to you right now. You're not behind, you're not late, you're not lost, you're just in the middle of your own becoming. And one day, you'll look back at the version of you that watched this video, and you'll smile, because that was the moment you started coming back to yourself. And I'll see you in the next one.